Alright, so with Legion Remix coming out, and probably being out as well, if I turn this into a reaction video at some point, we are going to check out some guides on Legion Remix, and this right here is one of those guides on Legion Remix. It is also made by Quasi-Wow. He's like a big YouTuber and streamer, and he makes some good content, and this thumbnail just stood out to me, so I have to check it out. So, it's called "Do Not Start Legion Remix Without This." Legion Remix, best class, power fast, and also farm checklist. So yeah, let's just find out what exactly is the best class, how do we power up fast, and what should be on our checklist for Legion Remix. Let's find out, boys. I'm gonna start with the volume in the middle here, and then we see if we have to turn it up or down, because so far today, some videos have been insanely loud, and some have been just spiking, so let's just find out.
What if I told you the biggest mistake you can make in Legion Remix happens in the first 5 minutes? It's not about the quest you pick, it's about the character you create.
I think I can turn it up a little bit.
This is a miss of Pandora Remix 2.0. Legion Remix have different rules, the grind is different, and if you want to walk away fast with every mount, every transmog, every advantage.
Also, let me just see if he's gonna be in the bottom all the time. Yeah, he is. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put myself in the top left then. I could even move around to be in the right as well, because he has some text coming on the left side. I could even be in the bottom as well, by the way, like bottom right. Could be the way to go. Let me just go over here for a second. I can move myself this way, and I can move the watch on kick this way as well. There we go. That's kind of okay, right? Being on this side. I will still have you guys chatting over there. Actually, I can move you guys as well, can't I? I'm moving you guys slightly over to where I am now, so we can have the chat over here as well. Let's see here. There we go.
You need a playbook, and this is a quick and dirty guide to Legion Remix, how I think about efficiency. So in case you're living under a rock, Legion Remix is a limited time event running from October 7th to the 19th of January, where you create a new time runner character to blast through a hyper-accelerated version of the Legion expansion. So you begin from low levels and level all the way to max level and do endgame content to basically get rewards in the form of mounts, the new furniture that's coming in midnight for housing, various very rare transmogs. But listen closely, because this is the most important thing you need to understand right now. Player power and cosmetic collection is now two completely separate tracks. This is unlike the
Is this gonna be another video with no music in the background? Because if so, I might turn on some natty in-game music while watching it.
A Pandora remix that you might be used to. So this changes how you should approach this event, and I'm breaking down my complete playbook. So let's start by talking about your main. What time runner class should you pick? And let me be clear here, you can pick any class in the game and you will still emerge at the end of the Legion remix, potentially with every single reward you want. The selection of class is really a min-max thing. If you are sweaty and you're trying to get there as fast as you can, you want to save time, then you can consider all the things I mentioned in this section: farming speed, Q advantage, survivability, and that matters because they introduce a brand new heroic world tier that is more difficult PvE content. More on that in a bit. But the point is, I want to be clear that you can play any class and you succeed.
I just want to comment on that, by the way. I am so excited to see Heroic World Tier, and I believe that them adding that to Legion Remix could be a step towards maybe seeing this in retail at some point. Because this is something we had in Diablo, not exactly sure which version of Diablo we had it in, or if it's in all of them, but this is something that we should have had in retail, or at least tested the waters with, quite a while ago. So I'm super excited to see this happen in World of Warcraft right now. And if this makes it to retail, it can be some fun. It can be fun. Even if it's just for end game as well, right? I think even the praise system we have in Midnight now is maybe them testing that water even further. Seeing like what people vibe with and what they don't vibe with. Because the praise system is a optional opt-in thing that makes things harder, but also could reward you for it. So I think both the Heroic World tier and the praise system coming in is a way to test the waters and see what sticks and what people enjoy when it comes to giving optional more difficult outworld content.
But if you want to be sweaty and you want to kind of think about what is the most efficient class to main to farm in Legion Remix, well, then I think there's three big things to consider. The first is the Q advantage. Let's make no mistake about it. Any MMO, tanks and healers always have some form of inherent advantage when it comes to queuing for dungeons, for raids, or for group content, because those are usually rarer roles that people don't want to play. And we know that there's Mythic Blast, we know that there's raid that can be cleared, and so there's a lot of
I think healers are going to have a massive advantage, by the way, in Legion Remix. Especially if you play a class that can both, well, I say a class, all classes, like if you're playing a healer, you can have a DPS off spec, but if you can have a DPS off spec benefiting from the same like a gear as a healer, so for example being a Resto Shaman but then having Elemental as your off-spec, instead of Enhancement where you have to go for agility gear, get some different trinkets and stuff, like being Resto plus Elemental could be a good choice, or being a Boomkin plus Resto Druid. And the reason why I bring that up is that in Legion, a lot of people might be building around soloing content, because that is what all the streamers are talking about, blah blah solo raids, you can solo Mythic Plus, you can solo this, solo that, and when it comes to soloing stuff, you basically don't think about healers. So a lot of people, when it comes to choosing a class, they think about what can I solo stuff with? Do I play a Demon Hunter? Do I play a Hunter? Do I play a Monk? Being a healer could be a really low-key great choice, and it might secure you instant queues for just about everything, and invites to all types of group content in Legion Remix. And even if you don't want to be a healer main, just pick a class that can heal as an off-spec, and you're doing like, yeah, you're gonna be doing good. You're going to love Legion Remix if you play a healer, or a class with a healing off-spec.
Rewarding endgame activities for gear and bronze, which is the currency you need for all your cosmetics and transmogs and furnitures. Because of that, classes that can play or flex into a tank or healer have a massive advantage when it comes to being accepted into groups quickly. And so you maximize the number of bronze per unit time. The second thing to think about is farming speed. A huge chunk of your bronze will come from open world farming, especially in the new heroic world tier, which by the way, it's inspired by Diablo. There's an obelisk you can click on. It converts the entire open world into a more difficult version. The mobs hit way harder, but they drop way more currencies. So how does it impact you? Well, then this favors classes with very high innate mobility and powerful spammable AoE abilities to tag and destroy huge packs of enemies. So mobility and the ability to AoE is important in this assessment here. And the third thing, which is survivability. I've talked about Heroic World Tier as a high-risk, high-reward mode that offers huge XP and bronze bonuses at the start, at least when your character is kind of weak. So to take advantage of this early and safely, you need strong self-sustain and defensives, classes that can take a punch. They will naturally earn more and faster currencies. So with these pillars in mind, this is how I think about classes. But let me add some context here. So to me, one of the top tier choices is definitely a tank that has great self-sustain. Playing a DK in a Blood DK or a Demon Hunter in Vengeance comes to mind, because firstly, they need the Q advantage. Secondly, self-sustain is really good. Like passive self-sustain of these two tank specs is just naturally good. Not to mention, if you play something like a DH, you are very mobile in the first place. I think runner-ups to me is Paladins, Druids, Monks are also good choices because you can again flex into healers. They also have tank specs. And things like monks and paladins and druids, they also have some degree of self-healing, but not to the degree of a vengeance or blood decay. But I think at the end of kind of the power curve, you should be self-sustaining anyway in very difficult content. So while you might be a bit behind at the start, you'll catch up eventually. But self-sustain is really important because like I talked about, there's the heroic world tier difficulty. So you're taking heavy damage at the start when you're not really geared. So the ability to life leech or self-sustain is critical if you want to go fast. You can farm in a group, you can farm solo, it makes them really versatile. That is also the consideration of the open world content, right? Like what is really fast, especially if you have a friend that you're playing with. These are DPS specs that I think are worth talking about. Havoc Demon Hunters for one, they are really, really fast with
I will say, by the way, for farm speed, eventually you will probably be doing Mythic Pluses for bronze anyway, so then you have to think about both DPS output, survivability, and also farm speed. But you might not even have to solo this. I think you'd get the same amount of bronze in a group. In which case, it's not just your speed that matters, it's the whole group's speed. But even then, like, the faster you are and the faster you do the pulls as a tank, the better, right? And I feel like if I had to give 3 classes for people to play in Legion Remix, it's going to be Demon Hunter, Monk, and then either Druid or Hunter. Either one of those two. Hunters are insane, but Hunter is only DPS, right? Druid has both movement speed, they can be a melee DPS, range DPS, tank, and a healer, so they are incredibly versatile. And Monk as well can be a DPS, tank, or a healer, and the Demon Hunters are just really, really movement speed based, versatile, and yeah, like they are insane, both for DPS and for tanking. Survivability as well for the Heroic World tier will only really be relevant, by the way, for the first probably week. After the first week, you will be so powerful that survivability basically doesn't matter anymore in the open world. But for the first week, absolutely. The more survivability you have, the better. So playing a tank can be a really good benefit for the first, even the first 2 days, I will say, because even after the first 2 days, you can be a DPS and solo farm just about everything in the open world, I should add, because you're not gonna solo Mythic Pluses, especially not high keys, for a few weeks, I think. Even months, possibly, but at least a few weeks. I mean, months, plural, could be, like, the whole event is lasting 3 months. So, maybe not months, but a few weeks. You will not solo Mythic Plus 40s for a little bit.
Mobility, you have Fell Rush, you have Retreat, you have passive damage bonus against Legion's Remix primary enemy types demons. Then
Yeah.
there's Druids. Again, you can flex into tank or healer, but at the same time, if you play a Boomy, Starfall is the ultimate mobile AoE ability, right? You tag and you melt all these spawns while moving, and I think it's one of the fastest bronze farmer in the open world. And there's Beastmaster Hunter. This is very basic to play in terms of rotation, very simple. Turn your mind off, watch Netflix farm stuff on Legion Remix. It's safe, it's efficient solo farmer. Your pet can tank elite mobs while you tag mobs from range, and
Yeah.
I think it also makes them viable for Heroic World tier earlier on when you're less geared. Then you have Warlocks. They are less mobile, but Warlocks have the ability to use Pet Taunt, there's some form of Life Leech, and they're generally tanky. So make of it what you want. This is at least how I think about it, and hopefully it guides you to decide on a main, because I know the idea of paralysis when you look at all these classes that you can create. Hopefully this guides you better. Alright, so now let's talk about leveling. The most critical thing to understand about leveling is there is a Warband XP buff. So when you complete the main story campaign, you will unlock a permanent stacking experience buff for all your other Time Runner ults. So make sure your first character is not just to hit level 80 fast, you should also unlock all these buffs. And the way to do so is you need to complete the campaign in the 4 core Broken Island zones: Azuna, Velshara, High Mountain, and Stormheim. Now, you all know how to level via the campaign.
That item, though, I think you get from daily quests, don't you? Based on my testing on the beta, you get this item from doing daily quests. You can also get it from doing achievements or other things as well, but even just simply doing daily quests, you get that item, by the way. So whenever you get to, not your class order hall, but the main kind of like hub, you should call it, like the small island with the bronze thing around it, where you pick up your dailies. Get there, pick up your dailies as soon as possible, and start doing those dailies. I don't even think you have to be max level, by the way, to do dailies. You can start doing dailies really early and get items just like this one. But I do want to say, while you're leveling, focus on doing achievements. It will really help you out. So like, less focus on leveling fast, more focus on doing stuff. That is really broad, by the way, but literally do stuff. Literally just do achievements. Do all the quests. Do all the storylines. Do the campaign. Do those things.
You just follow the indicator, the quest indicator, turn in quest, etc, etc. Very simple. Just do the main story quest. Ignore the side quest unless it's literally on your path. So don't go all the way out to do side quests. I don't think it's needed at all. Your goal is to complete, like I said, the zone's main campaign, so you unlock the Law Runner achievement as fast as possible to bank that percentage XP buff for your ults. So what about dungeons? I think you can go about doing the main story scenario while waiting for your queue to pop in dungeons, but do not stop to wait for your queue to pop. Always be doing something. The time spent waiting is just better spent progressing the main story to unlock the permanent account wide buff. And here's a pro tip. Whatever ults that you get to max level or main that you get to max level in the Legion Remix, you can actually permanently transfer to the retail experience and use that for, your character going to midnight.
Yeah, for anybody here who wants to make gold, by the way, like, I always have to, like, talk about the gold making aspect here. You know me, I'm a gold maker. But for anybody here who wants to make gold and are leveling characters on the remix for midnight, for example, you can end the remix whenever you want. In Mists of Pandaria, you had to wait. This time around, you can end the remix whenever you want. So, for example, if you get to the point of power leveling characters, you can power level, get to level 80, end the remix, go to retail or like regular War Within, pick up professions and start spending concentration and make gold while waiting for midnight. So you don't have to wait for the whole remix to end, you can start making gold on your setuping characters right away. And I'm telling you right now, even in midnight, if you just spend about 10,000 gold setting up a profession right now, and about 1 hour of your time to set up the profession as well, so 10,000 gold plus 1 hour, you can make 20,000 gold back every single week. That is really valuable, by the way, especially if you set that up in November. Midnight probably comes out late February, so you're looking at 12 weeks. That means every single character making 20k per week is going to be like 300,000 gold-ish per character. So if you have 10 characters that you're leveling in Legion Remix and you set them up before midnight, you make 3 million gold to go into midnight with. I am not joking when I say playing Legion Remix is the best way to prepare for midnight when it comes to gold making. It really is. It's that plus player housing.
But just take note, it's a one-way transfer. Once you transfer a time runner in Legion Remix to kind of the main retail experience, it's a one-way trip. You can't transfer it back, so take note of that. And that is why ults might be important if you're thinking of playing Midnight. You might want to optimize what classes to play. From the PTR experience, once you hit around level 40-ish and you have some decent gear, it actually is worth hitting the accelerator. And what I mean is, if you are tanky, you play a Blood DK, Avengers Demon Hunter, self-sustain is good, you can actually go to Dalaran and activate the Heroic World tier via the Obelisk. So it gives you way more experience, way more currencies, but in the open world, this Heroic World mode, the enemies hit way harder, but the rewards obviously is way better. So you can try this once you hit around, call it level 40, you have very good gear. I realized on the PTR that is where the power spike starts to begin. Now, one very important thing, this is super crucial. Make sure to visit Dalaran every day to pick up your dailies. And for dailies, just make sure you pick them up. Can't stress this enough. We know that Blizzard on the PTR towards the end, they have added new currency rewards for bronze from a lot of these dailies, including the Infinite Research daily quest. Long story short, you want to pick up all your dailies. They give you good stuff. That's the bottom line. Okay, so check out Dalaran daily before you start your play session. Next thing we'll talk about is kind of the systems. And let's talk about the first system, the Infinite Artifact Weapon. So if you played Legion way back in the days like me, you boomers would know that the core system is actually the Legion Artifact Weapon, so-called like the legendary weapon of whatever class. Each class have their own weapons. Now, in Legion Remix, things are slightly...
I absolutely hated the artifacts back in Legion, by the way. And the thing is, I think it was really cool when it came out, and I played the beta for Legion as well and thought it was such a cool system, until... Like, here's the thing, I was in a top 200-ish raiding guild back then, and when it came to artifacts at the start, they were uncapped, so you could keep farming artifact power as much as you wanted to, and even though it became easier every single week, I think it was 25% easier every single week, it just meant that anybody who wanted to push for raiding and also be either like realm first like we were, or even trying to go for region first or world first as well, you had to spam certain dungeons. Like, for example, me and my group, like, my guild split into leather groups, cloth groups, mail groups, and plate groups, and I was a rogue, so I was in the leather group back then. I ended up farming Maw of Souls, I think +5 to +7, anywhere between 5 and 7, or even like anything over 2 really. We farmed Maw of Souls for 15 hours every single day, sometimes up to 17 as well. We woke up in the morning, started doing Maw of Souls, had 1 food break, in the entire day. Literally just farming Maw of Souls over and over and over and over again. And if anybody got a non-Maw of Souls key, we either did that one or brought in a random person with the Maw of Souls key. And just did this over and over and over and over again. Number 1, because Maw of Souls had a very good Titan Forge possibility trinket. So even though all of us had the trinket, you could farm for a Titan Forge version of it. And also, artifact power was once again uncapped, so the more time you spent, the more power you got, and the more power you had, the more DPS you did. It was only like a very small percentage, but getting to the next trait would be a 2 or 3% DPS increase, and when it comes to pushing as a raider, 2 or 3% is insane, so of course you are grinding for it. And on top of that, they had the random legendaries as well, so while doing Maw of Souls, you got artifact power to power up your artifact. you got Titan Forged trinkets and Titan Forged loot, and you had the possibility of also getting RNG legendaries, which I got Sephu's ring, by the way, which was the worst trinket to have, and I got Pridas. I got Sephu's and Pridas, the possibly two worst items to have. Sephu's got buffed later, but at the start it was so bad. So what ended up happening was that even though I grinded the Ma's Souls for so many hours every single day, I got benched. Because my legendaries were so bad that a trial rogue that got lucky on legendaries ended up doing more DPS than me. So, good times, yeah. RNG, lovely.
Different, even though artifact weapons are back. Firstly, they have a unified trait tree. So in Legion, every single class and spec have their own unique kind of talent tree for their weapon. Now it's the same talent tree regardless of which class you play. And there's 5 different branches and they're based on different magic types. There's nature, there's spell, there's arcane, there's storm, and holy. So basically you can pick anything, you invest it down the path, you can mix and match different passes from different trees. But more importantly, on the PTR at least, you can respec anytime for free. So don't stress too much. You can trial and error, and somewhere down the line, I might make a video on more optimal setups. But the point is, you can mix and match, and there's no cost in switching. Your weapon is fueled by 2 resources. Infinite power, which is what you earn from doing basically anything. You kill mobs, you do quests, you run dungeons, blah blah blah. You naturally just get the resources to buy traits in the tree. So just do content, right? There's also a way to increase the item level of your weapon. It's called the Artifactium Send. Again, you get this by just doing content. So TLDR, I know it's confusing, you know, whenever there's a new campaign like that, like so many terminologies. Trust me, pick up your dailies, do your content, you'll get everything you need. Then, this is the more important one, infinite knowledge. This is more crucial than, you know, the previous things I mentioned. This is the real secret. Infinite knowledge is an account-wide multiplier. It increases the amount of infinite power you gain from all your sources. So it's kind of an accelerator in terms of getting power. You earn ranks of infinite knowledge by completing specific curated achievements, like finishing zone storylines, clearing dungeons and raids, and hitting world quest milestones. So the true path to power isn't just grinding mobs randomly. It's systematically hunting down the achievements that grant you infinite knowledge. Because every single rank of infinite knowledge compounds all future power gains exponentially faster. The power of compounding, right? And by the way, if you want to know how to get all these achievements for infinite knowledge, Wowhead has a very nice summary here. I'll link to it in the description. You just mouse over the achievement and then it tells you what you need to do. As simple as that. Okay, the next system, bronze. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, bronze is...
I'm just going to talk about the infinite knowledge stuff real quick, by the way, because you want to cap this out as soon as you can. So anybody who's looking to level, also somebody asked me if like you can be level 20 and do the raids. I will say on the PTR I was not able to try out raiding because nobody queued for the raids. So I don't know. That is the answer to that one. I don't know. We're going to have to wait until tomorrow and find out. But you can possibly queue for raids at level 20, in which case all you really have to do is be level 20, right? But yeah, for the infinite knowledge stuff, you get them from doing achievements, and while leveling, simply focus on questing. Even for me, I'm gonna quest not in Heroic World here, because my main and primary goal while questing is not to get to max level, it is to do every single quest available in the game. You want to complete the main campaign and the main storylines of every single zone, and if you do that while leveling, that's good. Because you just speed through it. Like, no heroic world here, just focus on speed, get the quests done as fast as possible to get the infinite knowledge as fast as possible, and then at max level you can start doing the other achievements, which are tied to raiding, dungeons, and world quests, which for the most part you want to be max level for anyway. So don't focus on leveling fast. Focus on doing quests and doing those achievements. And that way you will cap your infinite knowledge way before you know it. Just do quests while leveling, and wait until max level to do world quests and dungeons and raids, and you're chilling.
Different from MOP Remix. In Legion Remix, bronze is purely only for cosmetics. And let me repeat, you do not use bronze to upgrade your gear. That is different from MOP Remix. So bronze now is purely for you to decide on what housing decoration item to buy so you can have it in midnight, or what mount you want to buy, what gear transmog or weapon transmogs you want to buy.
I just want to say thank you, Quasi, so far for never saying Lemix. I've seen so many retail Andys calling this Lemix, and it pisses me off every single time. The whole Lemix thing needs to go so far out of the window and never come back. Like, Lemix this, Lemix that, and then Mist of Pandaria is Memix, and if we get a classic remix, it's Clemix. It's just like, stop it. Call it Mist of Pandaria Remix and Legion Remix. Like, there's no Lee mix here, or Klee mix, or TBC mix. No.
There are vendors in Dalaran that gives you a massive selection of mounts, transmog toys, pets, and all these new furniture that's coming in midnight that you can buy now. But know that you need millions and millions of bronze to cap this. I think the number is closer to 8.5 million if I'm not wrong. But it sounds like a large amount of currency, but trust me, when you get to enough power scaling, like, you will eventually get there easily. It's not a problem. Okay, so let's talk about the end game. So you finally reach max level, you've gone through the campaign, you listen to my advice, you got all the stacking XP buffs, great. How do you gear? How do you get better gear? Well, gearing in Legion Remix is passive. There is no gear upgrade vendor. So every new gear you find would usually drop at a higher item level than your current average. So you just gear up passively, honestly. And the max eye level for this entire Legion Remix is 740. There is some bad luck protection, like there is modes of a broken time. You do any level 80 activities, you can get these currencies. You combine 10 modes, you craft a guaranteed piece of epic gear at your current highest item level. So this is the primary tool for kind of upgrading your low eye level slots. There's also other shortcuts like doing Mythic Plus dungeons, you get gear from the dungeons, and eventually you get powerful enough to solo a lot of Mythic Plus dungeons. So if you hate group content, you hate getting into groups, you can do it solo if you want at the end
Warlords of the Remix when?
game. The bronze farm, where to spend your time. Okay, so there's two different routes when it comes to farming bronze. There's solo farming. This is bread and butter. So this is like typical, WoW players, right? We just have our second monitor watching something. You complete world quests, you farm elites in the heroic world tier zones. This is steady, reliable stream of bronze. It's like turn off your brain, you get about 500 to 1,000 bronze per hour, at least in the earlier parts. And there's group farming. And this is the undisputed king of farming, bronze. And the undisputed king of farming, bronze, is actually spamming Mythic Plus dungeons, because this is when Legion introduced that brand new game mode that we all grew to love, right? This is actually the single most efficient source for everything. Be it gear, modes, raw amount of bronze.
I also want to say, by the way, when it comes to number 1 solo, farm elite in the open world, it doesn't even have to be elite. I have a very good farm that I've linked in some of my videos, and like at the end of some of my videos as well that I have so far on the main channel, and like even just farming in the open world, you're looking at a bunch of bronze. Me, in the early PTR testing, not being super powerful, I was averaging over 100,000 bronze farming regular mobs in the open world. It's all about finding a good place to farm, and once again, if you want to have my take on that farming plus the location, just check out any of my Legion videos really on my main channel, and you'll find a really good location to farm. I'm not gonna hype up that location too much though, because I don't really need the competition, so fuck off, but yeah.
Drops. I think on PTR, if you're coordinated, you can pull in over 3,000 bronze per hour. You can also clear raids. They are very lucrative, and you can try and clear them as much as possible. I think they reset on a daily kind of cooldown, so you can clear them daily if you want. But make no mistake about it, I think Mythic Plus is definitely meant as the ultimate endgame in Legion Remix. The PTR we could do as high as like plus 40s. And it'd be fun to see what the max level of keys people can do is. Okay, then there's a collector's checklist, right?
Not only could we do 40s, by the way, people solo load plus 40 on PTR, but I do believe that plus 40 is the highest key, by the way. I'm not sure, but I do believe so.
There's so many things to farm. How do I even know where to start? Well, firstly, there's community resources like this very handy Excel spreadsheet that someone, or Google spreadsheet that someone created on Reddit. It allows you to check off what you already got, and it tells you how much more currencies you need. Like, I personally care more about how my
yeah, this spreadsheet, by the way, looks really good, but all you really have to do is go to WoW Achievement and then put in the name of your character, and it will show you what you already have and what you need. So for me, for example, when I do that, it shows me that I need 7.8 million bronze to buy the items I still need, compared to the usual 8.5. So just by me having played Legion, I have saved myself 750,000 bronze. And anybody else as well, once again, go to WoW Achievement and put in your name of the character, and you can see how much bronze you need to get the items you're missing.
Character look, so transmog sets, my weapons, and housing is coming. I am excited about housing. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I'll be farming housing stuff. So this should basically guide you to kind of work towards certain objectives, right? So throughout the entire campaign, use this kind of checklist to see what you're farming next. Here's wishing you luck on getting all the drops you want. If you like this video, don't thank me, thank all our amazing Patreon subscribers and YouTube members for keeping this channel
Damn,
alive.
that's
As
a lot, by the
special
way.
thank you,
Holy.
you get access to a one-button auto update and auto install of everything Quasi UI, the current and the future. That includes the brand new Quasi UI for Midnight expansion, built around Blizzard's cooldown manager and fully skinned with custom Quasi textures and font. We have already confirmed it works based off the alpha test I'm part of, and I can't wait to get these new features in your hands. You will also get special access to a dedicated WoW UI tech support channel on my Discord, where I personally reply to any WoW UI or Quasi UI question you post within the very same day. On top of that, you will get exclusive access to all my personal weak auras. You might as well go ahead and exploit them while weak auras is still alive through the War Within before Midnight kills it off. Number one, you get a Mythic Plus dungeon pack with clean and instructive text and audio alerts for every mechanic and debuff. There's no icon clutter at all. Secondly, you get a Tank Buster alert pack. It tells you exactly when to pop defensive cooldowns when Tank Busters are incoming. Thirdly, an AoE and CC silence shot caller. It highlights the Nyx's 3 optimal crowd controls and silence cooldowns to maximize mob lockdown and to minimize crowd control diminishing returns. Number 4, you get an AoE cooldown tracker. It counts down to the Nyx incoming party-wide mechanic so you can prep a healing or party-wide cooldown. And lastly, you get access to a Tank Buster cooldown tracker. It shows you exactly how many seconds remain until the next Tank Buster. You will also get early access to every future Quasi UI release, beta, early access, and PTR, so that your UI is perfect and fully set up before the new patches or expansions even go live. If you'd like to support us, the link to our Patreon is in the description of this video. Thanks for keeping this channel alive, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, that was a good video, by the way. The alpha servers are currently down, so, well, here we are. The alpha servers are down, man. Or at least the server that I was on. I just got kicked out, but hey, it is what it is. That was a good video, and hopefully me reacting to that and also, like, giving my point of view added something valuable as well to it, because, like, I've been playing the Legion Remix PTR quite a lot, by the way, and I mean, we've been playing it live on stream together as well, so we have found out a lot of stuff, and I'm extremely excited to play Legion Remix. At the point of me watching this right now, it's like, what is happening tomorrow for North America, and then the day after for EU, but realistically, it's 12 hours later for EU, because, like, North America, they're getting it when they wake up, or after their maintenance, and then EU maintenance happens not that long after. It's like a give or take 12 hours in between the North America launch and the EU launch, and the thing is, I'm going to be up really early. Well, I say really early, it's going to be 10 in the morning for me, so I'll be up at 10 and play Legion Remix after the maintenance. The thing is, it might come out sooner, but I see BA waking up too early, because once again, the servers for EU, they go down at 3 in the morning, and they are supposed to come back at 11. I'm just going to wake up at 10, in case the service comes back up early. I'm not going to wake up earlier than that, man. 10 AM really early. Hey, you know me. I've been starting the stream by saying good morning to you guys at 6 PM, okay? Come on, bro. Cut me some slack. But hey, that was a good video, by the way.